We are here for another legacy conversation with the Plate Glass Crew. I don't even know any other name. That's just the name I'm going to come up with on the spot. The Plate Glass Crew, who have agreed to speak to me today. And starting from here, snaking around to the back, can you loudly introduce your name? Say your name and how old you are for those who do not know you.
Frank Kemper Jr., 65.
Thank you, sir.
May Kemper Evans, older than him.
All right.
Brenda Tyler Morgan, 69.
Thank you.
Connie Tyler Beard, 70.
Thank you. That was great.
Joel Tender III, 62.
Wow. Yes, ma'am.
Robin Gaylord Parham, younger than most.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Me.
Yvonne Warwick Parham, 69.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Renita Grady Merriweather, 67.
Okay. And?
Diane Tyler Reed, 69.
Okay, so tell me about plate glass. Clearly, I'm not knowing. And I need to be educated, so talk to me about that. And whoever would like to go first can just go ahead and go. Oh, I gotta pick someone? Oh, my goodness.
The subdivision right behind where Mount Pisgah stands today, consisting of, which actually used to be 17th Street from the east all the way to Elizabeth Street to the west, and from Carter Street to the south to Carter Street to the north, Superior to the north. So that's that area, that subdivision, and Waterworks Company was right around that area.
So tell me about the beginning. Who knows the beginning?
My grandmother lived on the corner of Calumet and Maple Street, and in her home is where it began. She was a charter member, and she had 3 children, which one was my grandmother, Bernice Johnson Grady. She was also a church clerk, a Sunday school teacher, and I don't know if her siblings held any offices, but they all were members of Mount Pisgah.
And tell me her name again.
My grandmother's name was Bernice Johnson. Her mother's name was Bertie Johnson. And her siblings were Patricia Johnson Woods and Willis Johnson.
And what else? What else can anyone tell me about being in, you said your grandmother's house is where church actually started. Can you talk to me about that process? Like, do you know it? Did anyone talk to you about, like, what even made them want to start church in their own home?
Yes, I can tell you that. It started out of a need. Prior to that, people in plate glass, which is had to walk all the way over to the north end to Second Baptist Church to attend church. Weather and limited transportation and things of that nature made it so that they weren't in church every Sunday. And so the people in Playglass were saying, well, we need to start a congregation out here because we're not always able to get over there to services. And that's why that was started.
Thank you so much. So when did it move to a building? Or I think someone mentioned something about it being in a tent. Talk to me about that.
I knew there was a tent. Donita Humphreys would have been the one, that was her uncle, Roy Hatcher, that started that. He was a cousin to my grandmother and them. All of us are connected and intertwined somehow.
Still in the same area though? Yeah. So tell me, what is the most important thing that you can remember that you want the church to know about that community in general and the time in which you all grew up, and who you were connected to or anything like that?
Like they said, we're all somehow connected, but
Like familially? As far as like all of your families are connected? Okay.
Most of everybody came up from Kentucky.
we were all the choir, the junior choir.
Okay.
Yeah, and we loved to sing. You couldn't get us to miss choir practice in church. Hey, that was our thing. Miss Kemper was a pianist, and Uncle Phil.
Miss Kemper played the piano?
Yes, they were. Yes, and you know we loved that, and we used to travel with the church, you know, and everything. We are the ones who used to ring the bell on the front of the church. We used to swing on it. Matter of fact, we got in trouble for it, but we didn't stop us from swinging on the bell.
So the ringing of the bell didn't stop a Brother Kirby?
No, I used to ring the bell, me and my sister. My dad loved it. It was to let everybody know the church was over.
Like we had to be like the first one at the church. I know the bell.
Yeah.
You kind of had to race in the morning time.
Yeah.
I got to ring the church bell then.
Wow.
Yes.
We all got to ring it, whether we supposed to or not. We all ring the bell.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Church bell had to be rung, you know?
But
Who's gonna
Playglass
do
is
it?
a small community where everybody knew everybody.
Everybody.
I mean,
Okay.
We lived on, next
only
door to
2
each
streets.
other. There's only a couple streets.
It was 3.
And just like 3 streets, that's right. 3 streets. But we were all close knit.
Yeah.
Calumet, Elizabeth, and Cooper.
And mind you, we got whoopings at church.
Right.
Oh, shoot.
We're the ones that, if your mama didn't whoop you, spank you, your next door neighbor, or the guy across the street. Yeah.
You got another one when you got home.
Right.
That's what helped shape us too.
And if we got into like a fight or anything, we had to make up.
You had to make it
We
up.
had to make up
Yeah.
immediately. You're right. You can't wait till next
So
day.
who were your grown people at that time? Who were your grown people when you were growing up? Who were those
Mama,
people?
daddy, whatever. Mostly mothers, grandmas.
Yeah, because most of the dads worked at the steel mill.
Right.
I can remember the older ones were Miss Charlie Kay, Miss Terry,
Charlie K.
Miss Sandella Long, she was over Usher Girl, Miss Luella, then Ward.
Ain't Lucy.
Ain't Lucy Ransom, sure was,
Elsie Mae.
and
Elsie Mae,
Elsie
you're right.
Right. The Kinnick,
Miss Jen.
Miss Jen,
Geneva Store.
Then was the candy store.
Miss Mitty Wesley, and Miss Sage,
Miss Bellamy.
Ain't Ozzy.
See? And you know, see?
And it was the one called the Gospel Delight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gospel
yeah.
Delight.
Senior choir,
Senior choir.
chancellor choir,
Now, I did hear about the Chancellor Choir. I did hear about the Chancellor Choir.
missionaries choir, and then gospel jewels, or the young people.
So what were all the choirs? It was the youth choir, the Chancellor Choir. What other choirs were there? That was just it?
The singers on there? Yeah.
The senior choir. I'm curious as to why we had all these choirs. Do you guys know?
It was
There's 4 different
Yeah,
ones, they all
this is
separate.
gospel
Why?
because
missionary
and
choir mainly was
uncle
like this
played
Sunday.
the
or-
piano for the
There was
choir.
a
Okay.
missionary day, the missionary choir sang. Usually
Yeah,
like a youth day.
You
Youth
did
used to sing
everything.
sometime with,
Right.
they would, okay, we want you guys to sing a song with the chancel choir, not with them, before the chancel choir got up there and did the main, they sing one song and then, okay, back to your parents, you know.
Did they all travel to different parts of Indiana? All these different choirs, like you all had your own area to go to? No.
Mainly the chancel
Chancel
choir, and then sometimes it would take youth choir. But the senior didn't travel.
Not a whole lot.
No,
They stayed.
If they did, they mixed in with the chants.
Yeah.
What other ministries were you a part of besides the choir?
Usher board, Mr. Sando. Miss Sando alone had us.
You know, we used to have an annex too, next to the church, a whole new different building. And, you know,
So after it left, I'm making sure I understand. It started at in your grandmother's house. It moved to a tent at some point. It became does anyone remember when Mount Pisgah became a building?
I'm not sure when it became a building, but
Okay.
I do know that the tent, they purchased the tent.
Okay.
It was with the
From
Lily, to Pastor Hatcher.
Cause he worked.
Because he worked at Lily. And then they put the tent up and they stayed in there, and then they said it was a need for them to get a building because, you know, weather and stuff like that. So, then they took monies and I don't know how they did it. And
But the church already there, did they built the church from ground up? I thought the church was already there.
no, that's where the tent was. And then they had the Mount Pisgah building.
So the tent, was that I don't know, like moving from the house to the tent, was that like an odd experience to happen to have church in a tent?
We
We weren't here, but what I think happened was they outgrew people's homes, you know, as they had more members that come in, it became crowded in their homes, so they had to get a larger space.
So by the time you guys grew up and remembering, y'all were already Mount Pisgah was already in a building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me about what you remember as far as I would say as far as the community of people. What kind of people were at the Mount at that time? And I ask because I hear a lot of people say that one of the first things that sticks out to them about Mount Pisgah today is how welcoming we are. And so has that always been Mount Pisgah, or are there some other things that like probably were more identifiable with Mount Pisgah at the time?
No, I think everybody was basically kind of on the same economically level. And so they all kind of, it was a help meet type thing. Whatever this one need, this one help. Everybody helped each other.
Help me understand how did that experience, that community, that environment, all of those things, even with you guys being so close-knit with each other, how did that call you to Christ and your relationship with him?
I think we were all baptized in the church in Mount Pisgah, in the old church. We, you know.
And what did baptism even look like then? It just found a way.
underneath the pulpit.
It was a pool underneath
There
the
was,
pulpit.
there was literally,
No, it's in front of the choir.
literally, yes, on the right side, if you're facing the pulpit, on the right side, there was an area. and you literally had to lift that off
Yeah.
and set it to the side, and there was a pool underneath it.
So similar to this?
Similar to that.
No, not necessarily.
Except part of the stage was that. I
Okay,
mean, there was rails in there and everything.
Okay.
Basically take it apart.
And the
And
water was
underneath.
not warm.
okay. And the water was
Yeah.
not warm.
That was before he.
Just like the song say, it was cold. Chilled my body, not my soul. So even in all of that experience, like I said, going back to the question, like, you know, you obviously are a special group because of your shared experience in the environment. So how does that connect to how you matured in Christ, or how you were introduced to Christ, or how you know, where you are in your faith today?
Basically, our parents.
We had to go to, just like you said, we had to go to church every Sunday, choir practice, prayer meeting.
Yes.
I mean, whatever my mama was in, we was with her.
So you just kind of got it from
It's like
having to
church
go
every
anyway.
about 3 times a week.
Okay, okay.
Church was
It was not an option.
It was, you're right.
Actually stay.
it
Okay,
Church wasn't an option.
It was like school.
Yeah.
okay,
Had to do it. It was
Just like you
part of
said.
everyday life.
okay.
And then when we got older, if we go out on Saturday night, you better be up in church on Sunday morning. That's what you better be. You better be in church on Sunday morning. We don't care how late you get in.
That's
Wow.
right.
Get up.
None of us were
That's right.
at the same time. So
No.
we all had our own experience. We all,
Came
you
when
know,
we just, when it was right. That's when we came.
Right.
I know
Right.
when I first joined, I was, it was on a Friday night and I was at, a revival.
Tell me about that. Tell me about you joining that revival.
I don't know.
You don't remember what happened?
I remember what happened. It was just, nobody was telling me anything. It was just, whatever it was there. And it was like, get up and go.
When the spirit hit you.
Just get up and go. And that's what I did. That's what I felt that night. I went,
Wow.
and that's what happened to me.
How old were you?
Oh my. I don't know.
Because I always find it to be interesting when even when you guys said that, like your parents made you come, you had to participate.
Right.
It didn't really matter like what you wanted to do, and it stayed with you. Yet the Holy Spirit still, like, was like, I'm calling you to me.
Yes,
Period.
yes.
And I always find that to be fascinating when we're talking about you being like a young person having that experience. I think that's great because kids today don't think that God speaks to kids, and I'm like, He speaks to everybody.
I think it was a difference in, like, at our time, the whole exposure thing. Granted, I mean, others have walked away.
The
but
exposure thing. I'm sorry, help me with that.
being exposed to the church and being
Oh.
exposed to.
I thought that was an event. I'm like, what's the exposure?
Being exposed to the
Got it.
church and everything associated with it. And like most of us have said a little bit, it's been a family Playglass is a family environment.
Yes.
Because there's so many big families there that, you know, hey, you wanted to play, we were talking about this yesterday at the home going, you know, seeing some people that we grew up with that, you know, hey, we played together, we ate together,
Yes.
we went to church together.
Yes.
I mean, so many things we did together, but it was still, everybody's treated like family.
Right.
And it was very close knit, and like I said, something happened, you do something over on Cooper Street, Calumet's gonna know. And I think that environment at church, because we had a close-knit environment out there, when we came to church, it's all our friends, our family, you know. Mount Pisgah, I was little when we came here, but Mount Pisgah took us in. And, you know, because we had nobody else, and then Playglass took us in, okay.
Why are you all grateful? Because it sounds like you are, so I'm not even going to ask, are you grateful? But why are you all grateful for that experience? Or being a part of that community?
And it got us here now.
Right, yeah, it taught us a lot, and then, you know, as we got older, how we want our families
That's
to be
what we do with our kids
united
right
with
now.
the
That's
church.
what we're doing with our
That's
kids.
what we're doing with our kids right now.
Okay, I was gonna ask that. Yeah.
Might not have been here today
Yes.
Yeah.
if it weren't for the church. Right.
It was our own little community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
a store,
Yeah.
we had a barbecue place,
yeah,
We had a doctor.
we had a doctor,
yeah.
With 3 streets, like that, that's
we played ball in the street.
Yeah.
We played all kind of games in there.
They didn't have sidewalks.
No,
there were no sidewalks.
Walter
Wow.
Wesley's, auto
Mechanics.
shop.
We had everything going on. It was almost like a.
A little town, yeah.
The only
a
thing we
little
didn't have was
town.
a gas station, but other than that.
Yeah.
And everybody made fun of us, but everybody came out.
Out the
there.
Yeah, they did.
Came to play glass.
Do you think that community still exists?
It does
It
not
still
exist.
exists.
Well,
That's how it
physically,
was.
but I mean like just the spirit of the community and everything you guys are saying, everything you're talking about, that you're saying like, listen, we were our own little spot. Do you think that the spirit of that exists still within the church or within Kokomo at all?
Well, I think it does.
You think
Yeah,
it? Sister Morgan said,
We
ah.
have a play glass reunion.
Yeah,
that we
they used to
celebrate,
have it.
and people come back
Oh,
to celebrate the play glass reunion for people that used to live there. So they, Dip and all of them, they started it. Here it is. Joe, you know, he's the chef out there. And
oh yeah,
there's a
always.
big-
So that hasn't changed.
It still exists in each one
One
of
of
us.
us. Yeah,
Because we all live different places. So,
But we all come
But we
back.
all come back
we
to
all
play.
come back to Mount Pisgah.
All of you all expressed that your children have carried on this I don't even know what to call it. I'm just like, it's special, whatever it is, whatever the experience that you guys had, the community, yeah, all of that. And you said that it has been passed on to your children. So are they carrying on some of the things that you guys had going on at that time? Especially within the church body. Do they still come to church? Do they do? Okay.
No, so I don't. I can't get him to come.
You can't get them to cut, dang.
Everybody here became my sisters and my brothers because we were the only ones that didn't have a big family. Everybody else did. So you had to get involved with them or get in or be jumped in or whatever to be included.
So Mount Pisgah as it is in 2024, why should they be here?
To listen to what the Lord has to say.
Okay.
You're not sitting down reading the Bible. So you got a pastor who's going to explain who God is,
Absolutely.
you know, and what he can do for your life.
Absolutely.
You know, if you
They
need
need
help,
to be here for
learn how to
their
pray.
sake.
Yes, ma'am.
You got the best pastor in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pastor Anderson is
Nothing-
great.
Yes.
No.
And he
The Lord
explains
is
it,
still-
you know, real plain and simple.
Yeah,
Right.
He's got our backs, no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what, and it hasn't changed.
And so you guys all agree that you guys have learned, you know, your Christ walk has gone further through, you know, Pastor Kemper, Pastor Anderson, like all of the pastors that have been in your lifetime, that it hasn't stopped your spiritual growth. It continues to go. Listen, and I love that for y'all. I love that for y'all.
We've all, even though as we grew up, you know, we had lived our own life a little bit, but we all
Came on back.
stayed in church.
Well, that's how it's always been, right? Even when you just said, listen, I was made, or I think it was you that said, I was made to come, but really when I was convicted to join, or when I was convicted to accept Christ, that was the Holy Spirit dealing with me. So yeah, that's always how it goes. You put it in there and then we don't depart from it, for real. All right, any closing thoughts? Can you believe it? We're almost out of time. So any closing thoughts? Anything else you want the church to know, your church family to know? Anything important to share? I know we were limited on time, and every time I stop the camera, people are like, we didn't talk about this, and that. And you always end up remember afterwards. So
Well, I
any,
got a special tribute
okay.
to Mother Kemper, and she was the one who made me sing this song. besides my mama. 'Cause I didn't want to sing it, but it was called In the Garden. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the rose.
Come on, choir. Come on, choir.
And the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and he walks
Yeah.
with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I know that he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I'm his own. I'm his own. Oh yeah. I'm his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other will ever know.
This has been another Legacy Conversation with the Plate Glass Crew.